Section 7.3 has more exponent rules in it. We're going to use when you have a power to a power. So when it looks like this, you have 5 to the 4th raised to the 2nd power. You're going to multiply those powers. So 4 times 2 is 8, and then that 5 stays the same. So let's take a look at an example. Here I have n to the 4th raised to the 7th. That rule just said that you need to multiply 4 and 7, so my answer would be n to the 28th. Same thing here. I have x to the 2/3 raised to the 1/2. I need to multiply 2/3 and 1/2. Now if you're not familiar with fractions, you need to just use your calculator. So I would go get your calculator and I would type in 2, and here's your fraction button, 3 times 1 fraction button 2, and you would get 1/3. So my answer would be x to the 1/3. Alright, you're going to pause the video and try the got it question. So on letter A, you should be multiplying them and getting p to the 20th. Letter B, you should be multiplying them and getting p to the 20th. Letter C, you should be multiplying them and getting p to the 1/8. And letter D, you should be multiplying and getting p to the 1/8. What they're trying to show you by putting the same thing down there is the fact that it doesn't matter the order, you're still going to end up multiplying and you end up getting that same answer. Alright, let's take a look at a couple more. Now starting to apply what we've already done. So notice in this problem, you're going to have to do order of operations. So you want to start with the one that has parentheses. So power to a power means I'm going to multiply. So I did 5/2 times -2, and I got y to the -5th. Now notice I didn't do anything with that y to the 3rd, I just brought it down and I took care of this piece first. Now I'm going to apply my previous rules where if I'm multiplying I need to add these exponents. So now I have y to the -2nd. Then I'm also going to apply one more rule where if I have a negative exponent I'm going to rewrite it and change it into a fraction and move it to the denominator so it becomes a positive exponent. So my final answer would be 1/y². Alright, pause the video and wait a minute, let's try one more. Let's try this one here. So notice that I have this set first, so I went ahead and multiplied these two. So I got x to the -24th, this x² came straight down. Then I'm multiplying, so I'm going to add these exponents so it becomes x to the -22nd. Then I can't have a negative exponent, so I'm going to rewrite it and move that to the denominator. So it becomes 1/x to the 22nd. Alright, you're going to pause the video and try the next two. On letter B, you're going to multiply 5/3 and 3, so you should be getting w to the 5th. That should be your first step. Then you still have this w to the -2nd, so you're going to want to add these exponents, and then I get w to the 3rd. I'm done because I don't have any negative exponents to switch around. Letter C. You're going to want to multiply what's on the outside of here. So I have s to the +5/2, and then I already have this s over here. When I'm multiplying, I should be adding these exponents. So when you add them, you get s to the 8/2, which simplifies to just s to the 4th. Okay, moving on. One other kind of rule is when you have a product inside a parentheses and you have an exponent that you need to distribute through. So for example, this 4 is on the outside, so I need to distribute that to everything. So that means the 3 gets raised to the 4th and the x. Okay, same thing over here. This 4 gets raised to the 3/2 and this b gets raised to the 3/2. So let's take a look at an example. So on this first problem, I would want to take the 7 to the 3rd and I would take the m to the 9th to the 3rd. So I would write it as 7 to the 3rd, but then notice that I have a power to a power. So just in the previous examples, we've been multiplying them. So this would change to m to the 27th. Then I would evaluate 7 cubed, and that would become 343, and then the m would just drop down. Let's try another one. Here I have -4 on the exponent, so I'm going to distribute that to everything. So I have 2 to the -4th, and z to the negative fourth. The next step would be I would want to rewrite this so that my exponents become positive. So since both of them have negative exponents, they will both go to the denominator. So 2 to the fourth goes to the bottom and z to the fourth goes to the bottom. Then I would evaluate 2 to the fourth, so it's going to become 16, and then the z stays the same. Pause the video and try the last one. You should be distributing that negative 2 to the 3, and then when I distribute it to the g, you're going to multiply the 4 and the negative 2. Now I see I have negative exponents, so I'm going to need to move both of them to the denominator, so it becomes 3 to the second and g to the 8th. I can't leave this power here, so I'm going to evaluate it to 9, and then the g stays there. Alright, couple more examples here. They just get a little bit longer, but you still do the same process. So I'm going to start with my parentheses. So I distributed here, so I'm going to get n to the 5th. Then I'm going to distribute this 3 all the way across here. So it's going to become 4 to the 3rd, m to the 3rd, and then n to the negative 2nd. Now I'm going to start looking at what I can simplify. So I'm going to simplify this 4 cubed as 64. And I'm going to combine these two n's, and when I'm multiplying I add those, so that's going to become n cubed, and then my m will just get tacked on. Alright, let's try another one. Letter A. I'm going to multiply these two, so I get x to the negative 4th. I'm going to distribute this 4 all the way across, so I get 3 to the 4th, x to the 4th, and then I'm going to multiply so I get y to the 20th. Now you need to look for like terms. 3 to the 4th would become 81. There are no other numbers, so it just stays that. My x's are going to combine together. When I multiply those, I add those exponents, so that means I have x to the 0. X to the 0, I don't want to write in my answer because that means I have 0 x's. The y is all by itself, so it's just going to come straight down. Okay, you're going to pause the video and try the last two. Okay, on this one I distributed the 4. So I had 3 to the 4th. This multiplied, so it became c to the 10th. Then I'm going to distribute on this one, and I get c to the 6th. Now I'm going to look to see what I can simplify. This power becomes 81, so I evaluated it. I can combine these two c's together, and when I do that I add those exponents, so it becomes c to the 16th. Alright, last one. First thing I do is get rid of parentheses, so I distribute that 3. So I have 6 cubed, a cubed, b to the 3rd. Then I'm going to distribute the 2 on the next set. So I have 5 to the 2nd, and then multiplying those two I would get a to the negative 6. Now I start looking at what I can combine. Well, I went ahead and evaluated my power. So 6 cubed is 216.
Kale Sykes to the office, please. Kale Sykes to the office.
Sorry. And 5 squared becomes 25. Then you're going to multiply 216 and 25 because they're like terms. So that becomes 5,400. Then I'm going to look for other like terms, which are the a's. So I'm going to combine a to the 3rd and a to the negative 6, which means I need to add those. And then b just gets dropped down. Anything else? Yes, I have a negative exponent. So this a to the negative 3rd needs to get brought down to the bottom of my fraction. So my final answer is 5,400 b to the 3rd all over a cubed. Okay, now some of these problems get pretty in-depth, and the only reason is because you're starting to apply all of the exponent rules. So always think about, are there any powers to evaluate, such as 6 to the 3rd? Do you have any like terms? So a's go with a's, b's go with b's, c's goes with c's. And last, do you have any negative exponents that you need to take care of to make them become positive?